In this video, we are going to be ranking all of New Jersey's major highways from worst to best. New Jersey is the most densely populated state in the country and has an extensive highway system. Some of the roads are some of the best designed in the country. Some of the roads in New Jersey you would think were designed by IShowSpeed. So it really just depends on the road in New Jersey. Some New Jersey roads were designed horribly. So today we're going to rank them from worst to best. New Jersey has some of the worst traffic in the country. So there's a lot of really bad highways in New Jersey, and I've driven down most of these roads, so I know how the traffic is. I won't be including certain roads like Route 70, for example. There are a lot of state highways in New Jersey that are just rural 2-lane roads with some traffic lights and really no traffic, and they really don't serve much of a purpose except for the local traffic and the farms in those areas, so I won't be including those roads. And there are some roads like Route 24 and Route 19, which are highways that are almost up to interstate standards. However, they are really short and only travel a few miles. For example, Route 19 only travels between Patterson and Clifton and is only about 3 miles, although it is an amazing highway. But I won't be including it for this video, so let's begin. Number 40 in last place is Route 1 and 9. Route 1 and 9 is where US 1 and US 9 meet. It goes from Ridgefield Park all the way down to Woodbridge. This is the worst stretch of road in New Jersey. The worst spot is around Jersey City and North Bergen. Route 1 and 9 is in very poor condition, has limited lane capacity, gridlock traffic, and a horrible intersection with Route 7 and Route 139 in Jersey City, which can lead to major congestion, especially during rush hour. There's also the Pulaski Skyway, which is a dangerous bridge. And this highway travels through some of the most industrial, ugly-looking parts of the state. The main issue with this road is limited capacity. Route 1 and 9 travels between Newark and Jersey City, which are the two largest cities in New Jersey, and it only has 2 lanes in each direction. So it is not up to the standards that it needs to be. Also, the intersections in Jersey City should really be bridges or interchanges, but unfortunately, this intersection has caused lots of traffic confusion. And then there's this confusing interchange by Newark Airport. This interchange is honestly so confusing that you can get lost easily. It even confuses Google Maps. Some people say this is the most confusing interchange in the country. New Jersey is known for its confusing exits and interchanges, and as somebody who's lived here my whole life, I can confirm that it is very easy to get lost here. If you miss your exit in New Jersey, you'll wind up in Zimbabwe. Number 39 is a tie between Route 495 and Route 139. Both of these roads are small, but they connect the Holland Tunnels and Lincoln Tunnels to New York City. Both of these roads are in very poor condition, are very densely populated, and have a constant state of gridlock. The Lincoln Tunnel and Holland Tunnel are in poor condition, especially the Lincoln Tunnel. The Holland Tunnel was recently renovated. However, there are many issues with these roads. In Jersey City, there's a bridge that goes over the city, and you can just feel that the bridge is in poor condition. And then you're dumped onto a major boulevard, and there are many traffic lights and a constant state of gridlock entering the Holland Tunnel. It's also connected with I-78 and is a violation of the interstate standards. The area was too expensive and too destructive to build a freeway through, so they had to go with a surface boulevard. Number 38 is I-280. I-280 goes from the New Jersey Turnpike interchange in Kearny to the I-80 interchange in Parsippany, also known as the Essex Freeway. I-280 has several issues. The main issue is the portion around Newark, where it drops to 2 lanes in downtown and can often be bumper-to-bumper traffic, and is in a constant state of gridlock. The main issue is the population density in this area. To the left side is a train line and a train station, and to the right are major roads and apartment buildings, so it wouldn't be affordable to extend the lanes in this area. Another issue is the interchange with the Garden State Parkway. This exit is narrow, dangerous, and filled with exiting and entering, merging, and a toll booth. This exit is honestly a death trap, and I go out of my way to avoid it. I don't care if it takes 5, 10, or 20 minutes longer to take Route 21 or alternate route. I am not going through exit 145 on the Garden State Parkway. And while the lanes open up in the oranges, there are some traffic concerns in the West Orange area due to the high elevations and the mountains in this area. The roadway can be icy and can be dangerous during winter conditions or during heavy rain. However, once you get past West Orange, the road is generally free-flowing through Livingston and Parsippany. Number 37 is Route 4. Route 4 is a road that connects the George Washington Bridge to Paramus near the Garden State Parkway, and then turns into the far superior Route 208. The problem with Route 4 is its limited leg capacity, and the roadway is really tight towards the George Washington Bridge. Once you get to Paramus, the traffic is simply unbearable. There are many malls and shopping centers within the Paramus area, and Bergen County has blue law, meaning that corporate and retail stores are not allowed to be open on Sunday. So people cram their shopping into Fridays and Saturdays, and you can just imagine how bad the traffic gets. Another issue is the interchange with the Garden State Parkway. It is always gridlock. 36. Route 1. Route 1 is the longest north-south U.S. highway in the country and is really bad through New Jersey. The main issues is all the commercial and residential areas along the highway. It is also a major arterial road through central Jersey and runs parallel to the tolled New Jersey Turnpike, so people will try to avoid the Turnpike due to the tolls and just take Route 1. There is tons of traffic in the Edison area, and there's also limited lake capacity in the central Jersey area around Princeton. You are actually allowed to drive through the shoulder in the Brunswicks during peak hours. It seems like a cheap way for New Jersey not to extend the lanes, but that can also lead to induced demand, so I understand why they keep 2 lanes. 35 is Route 9. Route 9 is a north-south highway that runs from Woodbridge to the bottom of the state in Cape May. It is an alternative to the Garden State Parkway, but definitely not a viable one. It's often referred to as the poor man's parkway because it is the toll-free option running parallel to the Garden State Parkway. The major issues is around Woodbridge, and the shore traffic can really pick up south of Perth Amboy. There's also a lot of small towns and rural areas that this road runs through with many traffic lights, and it can just take forever to get to K-May, and it really isn't a good alternative to the Parkway. In at number 34, we have Route 3. Route 3 goes from Clifton to the Lincoln Tunnel. This roadway is always jammed, no matter what time you go on it. Middle of the day, accident, no accident, doesn't matter. The worst section is around Clifton near the Route 46 interchange, but really anywhere on this highway is very busy, especially when there's a football game at MetLife Stadium, and the American Dream Mall has only increased the traffic in this area. Like I said, the worst spot is around Clifton near the Route 46 interchange. There have been hundreds of millions of dollars spent to widen the lanes and improve the congestion in this area, and it has had semi-decent results, but I live right around the corner from here, and I can tell you this construction has been going on since I was a baby. It has improved traffic flow somewhat, but it's still pretty bad. Number 33 is Route 22. Route 22 goes from Newark all the way to the Pennsylvania border and eventually ends in Cincinnati, Ohio. This is probably the most hated New Jersey highway and is often nicknamed Suicide Boulevard for the aggressive driving, narrow lanes, and confusing exits. Now, from a roadway standpoint, I would actually say that this is one of the easiest to understand roadways in New Jersey with all the U-turns and jug handles and everything. But the biggest problem is the Union portion. Between Hillside and really towards like Watchung, this whole area gets very busy. But Union is the worst portion because there are businesses in the middle of the median. There's basically an island, and there's businesses within there. The biggest problem in this portion is turning. There are so many places where people are exiting and entering on both sides of the road, and this leads to confusion, traffic, and aggressive driving. Traffic can be pretty unbearable in this part of Route 22, and it ranks as one of the most dangerous roads in New Jersey based on accidents. Number 32 is Route 35. Route 35 is the main state road for the Jersey Shore, or at least the northern portion of the Jersey Shore. It goes from Seaside Heights, and I didn't realize that it goes as far north as Rahway. But the main problem with this road is the shore traffic. It goes through the most densely populated part of the Jersey Shore, which has plenty of locals and plenty of tourists going to the shore. This road also goes from a 2-lane walkable road to a strode to a 3-lane highway. So it really just depends on the section, and it's a really inconsistent and busy highway. Though if you are driving from Seaside Heights towards Mano looking, you can definitely admire the scenery in that area. Number 31, Route 17. Route 17 starts in North Arlington and goes to the New York state line in Mahwah, basically cutting through all of Bergen County. This road starts as a main arterial road through North Arlington and Lyndhurst, where it has businesses and has parallel parking. Then it turns into a strode, and then it turns into a highway with businesses on it. It's a confusing road, and the traffic gets really bad around the Paramus area near the Garden State Parkway interchange. There are many malls in this area, like I said earlier, and traffic is insane. There's also a lot of car dealerships on this highway. Any car dealership you can think of, they have in Ramsey. The traffic between Rutherford and Ridgewood is the worst part, but once you get past Ridgewood towards the Mahwah border near the New York state line, it is usually free-flowing even during rush hour, and you can still see the beautiful Sheraton Hotel, which is soon to be demolished. Number 30 is Route 130. Route 130 is a major road through the southwestern part of New Jersey in the Philly area. Again, similar to the other roads on this list, the problem is all the businesses that are located on it, the high rate of accidents, aggressive driving, and the confusing exits and interchanges, especially around the Cherry Hill area. The road is also pretty pothole filled once you head around the Camden area. Number 29 is Route 46. Route 46 goes from the George Washington Bridge all the way to the Pennsylvania border. The problem with this road is that it changes in just about every part. In one section, it's a strode with traffic lights. The next section, it's a freeway with businesses on it. Then you have a 4-lane road with traffic lights. And then it goes down to a 2-lane road in the rural areas. So it really just depends on the section. There is a lot of traffic and tons of traffic lights. It definitely is not a viable alternative to Interstate 80, the highway that it runs parallel along. And another issue can just be the straight-up traffic congestion, especially in Bergen County, but it can also get pretty bad around Wayne and Woodland Park. I grew up taking Route 46 my entire life, and I can confirm that it really changes drastically depending on the part you're on. 28 is Route 21. Route 21 runs from Newark to Patterson and basically turns into Route 20 when you get to Patterson. The issue with Route 21 is McCarter Highway, the Newark portion, which has traffic lights and runs through downtown Newark near the Prudential Center. The traffic in this area can be unbearable at rush hour with all the traffic lights. Once you get past Newark and you're between Clifton and Newark, it is free-flowing at all hours of the day. I have never ran into a traffic jam in that portion. But once you get up to Patterson, the interchanges start to get very confusing around Route 46 and Route 20. And Route 20 is way worse than anything on Route 21, except for maybe McCarter Highway. Another issue with this road is the potholes, aggressive driving, and the illegal dumping. There is so much illegal dumping on this road, it is genuinely concerning. I think the DOT has just neglected this highway, though it runs parallel to the Passaic River, so there certainly is some scenery on this road. 27 is I-76. I-76 is a very small portion of New Jersey, and then it goes into Pennsylvania. There is some traffic concerns and some confusing exits, but nothing will prepare you for how bad I-76 is in the Philly area. It is known as the Schuylkill Expressway or the Shore-Kill Expressway because of how dangerous it is and how outdated it is. So the New Jersey portion isn't terrible, but once you get to Philly, you are in for a rude awakening. Number 26 is Interstate 676. Interstate 676 goes from I-76 to the Ben Franklin Bridge entering Philadelphia, and it runs through Camden. The traffic here can be pretty bad, but it isn't terrible at most hours of the day. However, once you enter Philadelphia, there is an interstate standard violation. You run into traffic lights and a boulevard of some sort until it goes underneath the city of Philadelphia. The biggest problem here is obviously the traffic, but the reason they did this is because it runs through the Old City neighborhood around Franklin Square, which was too sensitive to build a freeway around because it is a historical area and it would be too destructive. 25 is Route 440. Route 440 goes from Secaucus through Jersey City, eventually into Bayonne, Staten Island, and then ends in Perth Amboy. The part around Jersey City has a little bit of traffic, but generally isn't terrible and is far superior compared to Route 1 and 9. And then once you get through Bayonne, the traffic gets a little bit worse towards the Bayonne Bridge. But once you head to Staten Island, this is a very free-flowing highway through Staten Island, considering it runs on the more quiet side of the island. And then once you get back into Jersey, the traffic is definitely tolerable. It's not the best highway in New Jersey, but is definitely far superior to Route 1 and 9. Number 24 is Route 36. Route 36 is the other road that goes through the Jersey Shore. Route 36 is certainly not as bad as Route 35. However, in some sections, it is a two-lane road with houses, so just be aware of that. Number 23 is Route 42. Route 42 is the connector road between I-76, I-295, and the Atlantic City Expressway. The problem with this road is its confusing interchange around 76 and 295, and although it is a very small highway, it is vital for the state. Traffic can be a little bit of a concern, but overall, the bigger issue is the confusion. 22 is the Garden State Parkway. The Garden State Parkway is by far one of the most important highways in the state. It is the longest highway in New Jersey, traveling 177 miles from the New York state line to Cape May. The parkway is really a blessing and a curse. The problem with this road is shore traffic in the summer, rush hour traffic in North Jersey, and tons of accidents. One accident can have this road in a bottleneck. The worst portion is between Paramus and Woodbridge. This whole area is always in a constant state of gridlock, and specifically the worst parts are around Paramus, Route 46, and then the worst of them all, the Irvington, East Orange area around the interchange between 280 and I-78. It can get bad around the Union Toll Plaza as well. Having toll plazas in the middle of the highway really doesn't help with the traffic congestion, and that can also be an issue. Once you head into Central Jersey, you have local and express lanes, which eventually turn back into a 3 to 4 lane road around Asbury Park. And in the southern portion, south of Toms River, traffic flows smooth as butter. Even during rush hour, there really aren't any traffic concerns as this area is mostly rural. The Garden State Parkway is in very good condition as it is owned by the New Jersey Turnpike Authority and not the NJDOT. The highway predates the interstate system and was well ahead of its time. It was one of the first highways in the country to use the exit space per mile. And the scenery on this highway is pretty decent, hence the name Garden State Parkway. One thing you need to be aware of when traveling down the Garden State Parkway is the state troopers. They are very serious on the parkway. They will give you a ticket for speeding and stay out of the left lane and only use it for passing because these cops are crazy about that. Number 21 is Route 322. Route 322 goes from the Barry Commodore Bridge from Chester, Pennsylvania into Gloucester County, New Jersey, and eventually ends around Egg Harbor Township. This road runs through mostly rural New Jersey and crosses the Barry Commodore Bridge, which is a beautiful bridge. However, it is outdated and the lanes are very narrow. Anyways, unlike most rural roads in South Jersey, traffic can certainly be an issue, especially in Glassboro due to Rowan University. There's lots of intersections and limited lane capacity, although I don't see the point in extending the lanes in South Jersey given how rural the area is, although they might want to increase transit options or allow people to drive in the shoulder like they do on Route 1 through Glassboro. I really don't know what the solution is here, but it's not the worst, but definitely one of the worst in South Jersey. Number 20 is Interstate 295. Interstate 295 goes from Trenton to the Delaware Memorial Bridge on the border of Delaware. The problems with this road is it is a bypass for the New Jersey Turnpike and is the toll-free option, so many people in the area will choose I-295. Another issue is around the Trenton area. A lot of state employees require this road to get to their jobs. Traffic around the Philly area during rush hour can be really bad. However, outside of rush hour, it really isn't that bad. And once you get past Gloucester County, it is light rural traffic, only used for the local traffic in that area, while the New Jersey Turnpike is reserved for more long-distance traveling. 19 is Route 208. Route 208 connects Route 4 in Paramus to Oakland and travels through the northwest portion of Bergen County. This road is top tier compared to Route 4, and because it travels through the less densely populated part of Bergen County, traffic flows pretty smooth around here, even during rush hour. The bad spots are around Paramus and Fairlawn, and considering how there's not much capacity on this road, maybe they could extend the lane in the shoulder to be an actual lane. The only concern with that idea is that if there's a breakdown, that could cause major traffic, although I don't think accidents are that common on Route 208. Number 18 is I-287. I-287 goes from the New York state line all the way down to Woodbridge. This road ranks just about middle in the state because the southern half of it can have some major traffic issues, especially around Rutgers University. However, as you head north, generally north of I-80, the traffic is really light in this area, and you can definitely admire some of the mountain scenery as you head into New York State. The road has plenty of lane capacity, but still, traffic in the southern portion around Middlesex County can really be miserable. There is also a high rate of car accidents in that area, so just be aware. 17 is Route 33. Route 33 goes from Trenton to Asbury Park. The area around Trenton and Hamilton Township can definitely have some congestion and some gridlock in certain areas, but generally isn't terrible. And once you get past Hamilton Township, the traffic flows very light as you have I-195 running parallel to it, and that road is also pretty empty for the most part. So there really isn't much need for this highway other than to accommodate local traffic, as this is one of the main state highways for central Jersey. Number 16 is Route 202. Route 202 goes from Mahwah down to the Pennsylvania state line in Mercer County, not too far from Trenton. This road is overall okay. It greatly depends on the portion you're in. In the northern portion, it's usually a 2-lane road that travels through residential and commercial areas, though it travels through a more sparse suburban part of New Jersey, so the traffic can be pretty light. Then it travels through some semi-rural areas through central Jersey, and the traffic overall isn't much of a concern, except for in Bridgewater, where Bridgewater has a lot of traffic as it is a pretty densely populated area. And just be aware of cops, because there are a lot of cops in Bridgewater, so don't go too fast. Number 15 is Route 73. Route 73 goes from the Tacony-Palmyra Bridge in the Philadelphia area and then eventually to Hamilton in the rural part of South Jersey. This road is heavily commercialized in the Philly area, especially closer to Philadelphia, and then you wind up around Maple Shade and Mount Laurel, around like Evesham area, where it's a more sparse suburban area, but there's still a lot of stop-and-go traffic due to the traffic lights. However, once you get to South Jersey, towards Hamilton, around the Pine Barrens, the traffic here is light rural traffic. 14 is I-78. I-78 goes from New York City all the way to the Pennsylvania border. This highway, for the most part, is in very good condition, free-flowing, and has lots of lane capacity, especially in the rural portions. Once you head towards Newark, it has 5 lanes and even has express lanes once you get towards the airport. The good thing about this road, like I said, is the lane capacity. The road is pretty clean and generally free-flowing even during rush hour. The thing that's not putting this highway in the top 10, however, and the reason it has such a bad reputation, is the Newark, Jersey City area. The traffic really picks up in Jersey City, and the limited lane capacity once you pass the New Jersey Turnpike, and in addition, this area is tolled. Once you head into Jersey City, like I said before, there is a boulevard with traffic lights, which violates the interstate standards. This part of the roadway is in poor condition, and traffic is inevitable. But other than that portion, in particular, the tiny portion around Newark and Jersey City, this is an amazing highway. Number 13 is Route 206. Route 206 goes from the Pennsylvania border in the northwest corner of New Jersey all the way down to the Pine Barrens in Hamilton, which is South Jersey. The only traffic issues on this road is in the South Jersey portion. Although this is the most rural part of the state, there are some traffic lights in this area that can really back up the traffic, and some of the jug handles around Tabernacle, which is very confusing for some drivers, which can actually lead to some congestion in rural areas. Number 12 is the Continental Interstate 80. Interstate 80 goes all the way from New Jersey to San Francisco, California. The New Jersey portion is pretty decent. Now, prior to all the sinkholes opening up, this was a good road. But because of the sinkholes in Wharton, because of an underground abandoned mine that has been abandoned since the 1800s, 3 sinkholes in the past 3 to 4 months have opened up in this area. I-80 starts at the major traffic bottleneck around the George Washington Bridge, which is the biggest traffic bottleneck in the country. Traffic from the New Jersey Turnpike, Cross Bronx Expressway, Route 46, and of course Interstate 80 all join the party in this tight, limited lane capacity area. And 46 definitely has some confusing interchanges around I-287, I-280, and Route 202. This whole part of the highway near Parsippany has a ton of traffic and is extremely confusing. But if you can look past all of this, Interstate 80 is actually an amazing highway. The area around the Delaware Water Gap is simply beautiful. Traffic can definitely be an issue around Patterson, but generally isn't too bad compared to the other roads in the area. And through Passaic and Bergen County, the traffic is pretty light given how densely populated the area is. I-80 has some of the best lane capacity of any roadway in New Jersey. It is 4 and even 5 lanes in many parts of it. Once you get past the exit by Route 15, traffic is always smooth, and I have never had an issue with traffic in this area unless there is an accident. Also, in Warren County, in some parts, for some reason, there is 4 lanes of traffic, which is silly considering how rural the area is, but it definitely helps with traffic flow as this part is always empty. Number 11 is the Atlantic City Expressway, which goes from Atlantic City to the Philadelphia area. This road is an important road that connects the two cities and is a toll road. Now, the traffic is always light. Now, most of the time. I understand at rush hour people can complain, but the thing is, 95% of roads in America are busy at rush hour, so that is not a good argument. The road is maintained by the New Jersey Turnpike Authority, so of course it is in much better condition than the roads managed by the New Jersey DOT. However, I don't see the point in taking this road unless you are really in a rush, given that there are many viable alternatives to this roadway. It is very easy to get between AC and Philadelphia due to this amazing roadway handling its light rural traffic. Number 10 is Route 30, which runs parallel to the Atlantic City Expressway. The reason I'm putting this one higher is because it is the toll-free option and is the definition of a viable alternative road. It handles the light rural traffic in this area and does it very well. It's generally at 2 lanes in each direction with either a divider or a median. The only downside about this road is it ranks as one of the most dangerous highways in New Jersey to drive down. This is surprising, but my guess is because it's a dark road with high speeds and maybe there's even potential drunk driving considering it's a rural area. Number 9 is Route 18. Route 18 goes from Wall Township to Piscataway. This is an excellent road through Monmouth County, and despite it having traffic lights, traffic still moves very efficiently. Traffic is a concern around the New Brunswick area due to the limited lane capacity and population density, but outside of rush hour, Route 18 isn't horrible in that area. There are plenty of highways and of course the Garden State Parkway running through this portion of Monmouth County, which makes the traffic so light. In many portions of Monmouth County, you can actually go 65 on this road, which is very impressive given the kind of road this is. Honestly, Route 18 is just a solid road through central Jersey. Number 8 is I-195. I-195 goes from Route 138 in Belmar to Trenton. This might actually be the best interstate highway in New Jersey. Now, somebody was telling me that around rush hour, traffic can be bumper to bumper, and he suggested that they should extend the lanes on 195. Look, traffic is bad on almost any road at rush hour. That does not, the highway is not bad because there's rush hour traffic. And I really don't think that the lanes need to be extended, potentially around Six Flags, but Six Flags is only open, a few months out of the year, so I don't think it's really necessary. An expansion of lanes is extremely expensive and also leads to induced demand. This is the main east-west interstate highway for central Jersey and is always free-flowing, in very good condition, and it only takes about 30 minutes to get from the Jersey Shore to Trenton due to this excellent highway. Number 7 is the Palisades Interstate Parkway, which goes from Rockland County in New York through Bergen County along the Palisades at the Hudson River. This road is known for its scenery as it runs along the beautiful Palisades cliffs, which almost looks as big as the Grand Canyon. Traffic can be an issue, and the biggest problem with this road is accidents, as this road is narrow, curvy, and runs through some really dark areas with bad drivers and high speeds. But if you can look past that, this is a beautiful highway that is free-flowing at most times of the day. Compared to the surrounding towns, this part of New Jersey around Alpine is very low density, so there isn't any significant areas along this highway, making the traffic a lot lighter. Number 6 is Route 29. Route 29 runs parallel to the Delaware River and starts in Frenchtown and ends in Trenton. You could definitely argue that the area around Trenton has some traffic, but this road as a whole is an excellent road. Although it is a 2-lane rural road for the most part, it becomes an actual freeway through Trenton and is a really long road. This road travels through some really scenic areas, and when I was driving from Lambertsville to Trenton, I was really surprised by the scenery, and I honestly thought I was in like Pennsylvania or West Virginia. It did not feel like New Jersey. I honestly didn't think that mountains went that far south into New Jersey around like Lambertsville. Really surprising, honestly. The whole road is just a chill vibe, pretty much from Frenchtown to Trenton. Both Frenchtown and Lambertsville are really cute little towns, and you also have New Hope, PA, right across the river, which is also a beautiful historic town, though it is very touristy, so I recommend going to Lambertsville. Number 5 is Route 55. Route 55 goes from Gloucester County and then eventually turns into Route 47 and goes to the bottom of the state in Cape May. This road is always free-flowing, travels through mostly rural areas or sparse suburban areas. Although Vineland is a very large town, traffic in this area isn't a concern due to the rural atmosphere and the farms in this area. Also, if you like haunted roads, you will like this one, as there is a story of a ghost on Route 55. If you want to go on Google and look further into that, you absolutely can. I don't really know much about it, but I'm just letting you know. Also, be aware of reckless driving on this road, as there are lots of accidents on Route 55. As I searched in this road on YouTube, all I could find were stories of car accidents. As you have noticed, there is no perfect road in the J. Number 4 is Route 40. Route 40 goes from Atlantic City to the Delaware Memorial Bridge on the border of Delaware. Now, can somebody explain to me why there are so many highways through Atlantic and Cumberland County, given how rural the area is? I really don't know, but as such, the traffic is very light, and this road is pretty scenic, as you can admire a lot of the farm scenery and also the greenery. Number 3 is Route 23. Route 23 goes from Verona in Essex County to the New York State line at High Point State Park in the northwest corner of the state. I travel down this road at least once a week, and it is excellent. Considering how many towns it travels through and how much retail shopping there is in this area, I am impressed at how smooth and consistent traffic is. This road goes from a 2-lane stroad through Verona and Cedar Grove to a freeway with retail shopping, eventually back down to a rural 2-lane road in Sussex County. The road is very free-flowing once you get past the Walmart in Riverdale, and you can really admire the forest and mountain scenery through West Milford, and then eventually the mountain and farm scenery towards Sussex County. The only traffic concerns would be the stop-and-go traffic, because there are a lot of traffic lights, and really, look out for the cops on this road, because it does not matter what town you are in, there are cops all over this highway, so I really wouldn't recommend going 10 or 15 miles over the speed limit. In most portions, it's around 50 to 55, so make sure to go the speed limit when you're traveling down Route 23. Number 2 is Route 15. Route 15 goes from the I-80 interchange in Wharton to Route 23 in Sussex County. This road is exceptional. It has a ton of lane capacity to accommodate the suburban and rural traffic. There are some businesses and traffic lights, but definitely not as many as most New Jersey highways, and the road is in good condition. Traffic is always light. Now, this road was amazing and had light traffic prior to the sinkholes on 80. Traffic can be definitely a concern around Wharton and Dover, but that's only because of the 3 sinkholes that have appeared on I-80 in the span of 4 months. So it doesn't really have a lot to do with Route 15, but it could affect the traffic in that area, so just be aware. Number 1, without a doubt, has to go to the New Jersey Turnpike, and I know I'm going to get so much hate for this, but honestly, I don't care. The New Jersey Turnpike is one of the best designed roadways in the country. Between Newark and Philadelphia, it has this lane configuration where the outermost lanes are reserved for trucks, cars, and buses, while the middle lanes are reserved for cars only. You have 6 lanes in each direction in total, which makes the drive from New York City to Philadelphia smooth and filled with very little traffic. The New Jersey Turnpike is smooth and in very good condition and has these service areas on the side of the highway, which are all very modern. Most of them have been renovated, and they are amazing, very, very clean. The New Jersey Turnpike is a toll road, and the toll plazas are at the exits rather than on the highway like the Garden State Parkway, and you are tolled based on how far you have driven. People hate this road because the portion around Newark Airport is really ugly with all the factories in that area. However, you can definitely admire that beautiful New York City skyline as you head around Secaucus. Unfortunately, once you get past the city of Newark, this is where all the fun ends, as you wind up with the Eastern and Western Spur, which both have very limited lane capacity given the amount of traffic, and pretty much from Newark to the George Washington Bridge, traffic is an issue. In the Philly area, it's spurs as well. You have the Pennsylvania extension, which goes through I-95 into Philadelphia, and then you have the New Jersey Turnpike South Jersey extension, which runs parallel to Interstate 295 and is reserved for the long-distance traveling. New Jersey Turnpike is also a limited access highway, and they take this to another level, as exits are usually spaced about 10 to 15 miles apart from each other, making this for a long-distance travel road. You won't really find too much local traffic on the New Jersey Turnpike, and this road is by far the most important for the state. It connects New York City, Philadelphia, Boston, and Washington, D.C., which is the most populated part of the country. This is a vital road for New Jersey and the Northeast. New Jersey highways ranked from worst to best. Do you agree or disagree? Let me know in the comments below. But please keep the comment section respectful, as I do like constructive criticism and not just spam comments telling me that I'm an idiot. I don't like that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.